Hey there, this is Ryan. I am Cedar House on Chef's Knife to Go forum, and I am reviewing the Richmond Laser Ginsan 210mm gyuto. The knife is on loan to me. It's part of a pass around that's going on right now on the forum, and the knife belongs to Carol, another forum member, and this knife, since it arrived on the site on Chef's Knives to Go, has really fascinated me. Monosteel knives are pretty rare to begin with. Monosteel Ginsan, I had never seen one before. And when these knives were first introduced, I was not real familiar with Ginsan, but at this point I've owned several knives in Ginsan steel, and it's become my favorite stainless steel. And so when it was offered up on Pass Around, it was really hard for me to resist. I kind of didn't want to because the knife was being closed out, and so anything I learned from it, it's not like I'm going to be able to pay that forward. My curiosity overwhelmed me, and so when it was shipped to me and I opened the box, I was actually really quite excited. The finish on the knife looked quite good. Right now it has been thin, so there's some scuffing, but you can kind of see that new out of box, I would have been pretty happy with the appearance of the knife. And the handle is spot on. It's a beautifully made, beautifully crafted handle. Once it was in hand, I was pretty excited to get it on the board. Profile for me, I'm not real sensitive to knife profiles, so a profile isn't going to win me over or lose me. It is kind of halfway between the Konosuke. This is the white number 2. But obviously the HD is the same profile, so to me, to my eye anyway, it's kind of a halfway between this and the Kin Onion designed Shun chef's knife that was closed out years ago. Kind of looks like a half breed between these two. And so, like I said, that didn't really motivate me one way or the other, just trying to give it a bit of a description. And so the day I got it, I was just getting ready to prep dinner, so I put it immediately to work. And true story, turned to my wife and I said, "Damn it, I hate it when this happens." You see, when I participate in a forum, or rather a pass around, I really do appreciate the opportunity to try out these knives. And I just feel like such a tremendous tool when I don't like a knife. And this knife is not working for me. And the reason is because this is not the scion of a Konosuke and the Kin Onion. This is the product of a menage a trois between those two knives and a flexible boning knife. This knife is bendy. So much so that almost immediately the first thing I put this through was an onion. And as it traveled down in the vertical cuts through the onion, it would catch each successive layer and kind of peel off to the side. It wanted to kind of ride the contours of each successive layer down, and I'd get kind of a shearing motion through the cut. Steering was quite difficult on anything that was kind of curvy or had kind of a layered kind of structure. And I did not find it an easy knife to control. The bendiness also kind of gives it a bit of a cheap feeling because, like I said, the knife I associate it with is trying to work with a flexible boning knife. And of course, most of those are going to be like a $9.95 knife at a sporting goods store. So the association didn't really work very well for me, and that's a bummer because aesthetically I wanted to like the knife. The steel has held up pretty well. I've got a couple big meal preps on it, and in most places I can still get it to push cut paper. It'll smoothly draw cut through paper, slice through paper, not a problem. And so edge retention's been good. Feels a little funny to me on the stones. It doesn't. I don't get great feedback that's telling me I'm putting a good edge on it. But when I test the edge on stuff, it performs quite well. A side note, and I'm going to use my strop here just as an example. But because of the flexibility of the knife, Usually I am not dexterous enough to kind of move fingers along a blade edge during the course of a stroke. And so I like to kind of plant my fingers somewhere and be able to keep them there. And the problem with a knife that has this much give is it kind of wants to bend over, and you'll get hard contact on the edges of a stone and kind of a gap where the blade lifts up. And so I was forced to do this sectionally when I did my touch-up when I first got it. And that's a little unnatural for me. And ultimately, I don't guess that's a negative exactly, but it did mean that I had to change what I was doing to accommodate what the knife was doing. And so again, kind of a bit of a, I guess, a minus there. So there's a lot of things that I want to like about this knife. There's a lot of things that it doesn't, that it does just fine. And really, there's only one thing I don't like, but unfortunately, that one thing manifests itself in everything I do with the knife. And so at the end of the day, I can't say I was really, I'd be really excited to put this into my collection. Now, I know some people feel much more confident with a knife with some give to it. And for somebody like that, this knife may work out really well for them. But for me, that was my big takeaway from it. To Carol, every learning experience is appreciated. This isn't, I can't express how much I appreciate the opportunity, the generosity of everybody on the forum to let me play with their stuff, and then on occasion have something unkind to say about it. I can't believe you all put up with me. So thank you so much, Carol, and I hope you guys find the review useful.